Revolution of 1899, also known as the Malolos Constitution, was the first republican constitution in Asia, created during the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. Drafted by the Revolutionary Congress at Malolos, Bulacan, it reflected the aspirations of the Filipino people for independence, democracy, and governance based on republican principles. The Philippine Revolution from 1896 to 1898 led to the fall of Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines. Following Spain's defeat in the Spanish-American War in 1898, the Treaty of Paris was signed, ceding the Philippines to the United States. Philippine revolutionaries, led by Emilio Aguinaldo, declared the independence of the Philippines on June 12, 1898. Shortly after, the Malolos Congress was convened to draft a constitution for the newly declared independent republic. The Malolos Constitution was the first republican constitution in Asia. It declared that sovereignty resides exclusively in the people and called for the creation of an assembly of representatives to act as the legislative body. It also called for a presidential form of government, with the president elected for a term of 4 years by a majority of the assembly. It was entitled Constitución Política and was written in Spanish following the Declaration of Independence from Spain, proclaimed on January 20, 1899, and was enacted and ratified by Malolos Congress, a congress held in Malolos, Bulacan.
So, preamble. The preamble of 1899 Constitution expressed the Filipino people's desire to establish the republic founded on justice, liberty, and equality. So it reflected the intent to create a government that would protect the common good and ensure the welfare of its citizens. So in the statement that says, we, the representative of Filipino people, assembled in the Congress by the will and election of the people, for its the purpose of establishing peace and justice, securing liberty, consolidating the union, and maintaining independence, do hereby ordain this Constitution. So next, we have Emilio Aguinaldo. So Emilio Aguinaldo was the mayor of Cavite Viejo, or Kawit Cavite, during August 1896. So he is the local leader of the Katipunan. He replaced Andres Bonifacio. So he also signed an agreement called Pact of Biak na Bato with Spanish government general in December 1897. So he made an agreement with the representative of the American consulates, George Dewey, to return to the Philippines to assist the United States in the war against Spain. So on May 19, 1898, Aguinaldo made his way back to the Philippines. So, Revolutionary Assembly assembled and proclaimed Filipino independence in September after the Filipinos who had declared their independence from Spain. So, it established a provisional republic of which Aguinaldo was to serve as president.
He is Pedro Paterno, a prominent leader who helped in drafting process of the Malolos Constitution. And he is Apolinario Mabini, a key political figure and intellectual leader. Although not directly involved in the drafting the Constitution, he significantly influenced its ideological and legal foundations.
So these are the structures of Malolos Constitution. First is the preamble. It expressed the ideals of liberty, justice, and equality. In Title I, the Republic of the Philippines defined the country as a sovereign and independent nation. Title II, the executive power, stipulated the organization of the executive branch headed by the President. And in Title III, the legislative power, it is established the bicameral legislature, although in practice it was not fully functional. In Title IV, the judicial power, it established the judiciary and courts, though they were not fully operational during the period of conflict. In Title V, the right of the people, it is provided for the civil rights and freedoms of the Filipino citizens. In Title VI, the armed forces define the role of the military in the Republic, especially in defending the nation. The Philippine Revolutionary Government's history. Emilio Aguinaldo issued a proclamation on July 18, 1898, requesting the election of a representative to the Revolutionary Assembly. Another proclamation announcing that Aguinaldo will appoint representative of Congress was being promulgated 5 days later. In total, he appointed 50 delegates. On September 15, 1898, Aguinaldo brought the Revolutionary Congress together at the Barsunian Church in Malolos, Bulacan.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Marilo Bilutindos reporting on the Malolos Congress' most significant accomplishment. The Declaration of Philippine Independence, which took place on June 12, 1898 in Kawit, Cavite, was broadcast on September 29. 1898 enactment of legislation permitting the Philippines to borrow 20 million pesos from bank to fund public spending. Founding of several schools, including the Universidad Literatura de Filipina. The Philippines Constitution drafting. On June 12, 1899, war was declared against the United States. For the first time, representatives of the Filipino people lead the committee, which was led by Felipe Calderon and assisted by Cayetano Arellano. This is the first Republican convention in Asia. The Political Constitution of 1899 is the original title of the first document of Malolos Constitution. The Constitution is composed of 39 articles, which are further broken into 14 articles, 8 of which are temporary provision and 1 final addition article. Aguinaldo was given the final draft of the Constitution, which cleared the path for the establishment of the first Philippines Republic. In suit for the separation of church and state and established the democratic republican government with 3 branches: the executive, legislative, and judicial.
Legacy and importance. Symbol of Filipino nationalism. The 1899 Constitution symbolized the Filipino struggle for independence and self-governance. Although it was short-lived, it set a precedent for future efforts to create a democratic system of governance in the Philippines. Influence on subsequent constitutions. Elements of the Malolos Constitution influenced later Philippines constitutions, particularly the 1935 Constitution and the 1987 Constitution, especially in terms of democratic principles, human rights, and the notion of popular sovereignty.
Preamble. The Filipino people imploring the aid of divine providence in order to establish a government that shall embody their ideals, conserve and develop the patrimony of the nation, promote the general welfare, and secure to themselves and their posterity the blessings of independence under a regime of justice, liberty, and democracy, do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. Article 1. The National Territory. This part of the Constitution divides the national territory of the Philippines as the Philippine Archipelago, with all the islands and waters embraced therein and all other territories belonging to the Philippines by historic or title, including the territorial sea, the airspace, the subsoil, the seabed, the insular shelves, and other submarine areas over which the Philippines have sovereignty or jurisdiction. Internal waters are defined. Article 2. Declaration of Principles. Section 1. The Philippines is a republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. Section 2. The defense of the state is prime duty of government, and in the fulfillment of this duty, all citizens may be required by law to render personal military or civil service. Section 3. The Philippines renounces war, was an instrument of national policy and adopts the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the nation. Section 4. The natural right and duty of parents in the rearing of the youth for civic efficiency should receive the aid and support of the government. Section 5. The promotion of social justice to ensure the well-being and economic security of all people should be concerned of the state. And for Article 3, Bill of Rights, Article 3 recognizes the individual's rights of the Filipino people and guarantees its protection against abuses, including in the Bill of Rights are due process of law, equal protection of the laws, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the right to privacy of communication and correspondence, and the right to free speech, expression, and to peaceably assemble.
Article 4. Citizenship. Those who are citizens of the Philippine Island at the time of the adoption of this Constitution those born in the Philippine island of foreign parents who, before the adoption of this constitution, had been elected to Philippine office in Philippine islands. Those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines or those mothers are citizens of the Philippines and upon reaching the age of majority elect Philippine citizenship. Lastly, those who are naturalized in accordance with law. But first, what is citizenship? A citizenship is a membership in a political community which is personal and more or less permanent in character. Nationality is a membership in any class or form of political community. Thus, nationals may be citizens if member of democratic community or subjects if members of monarchical community. Section 2. Philippine citizenship may be lost or reacquired in the manner provided by Article number 7, the Executive Department. So, the Executive Department, it is the legal and the political function of the President involving the exercise of discretion. So, it is invested in the President of the Philippines of having a power to enforce and administer laws. So, it outlines the qualification, powers, and duties of the President and also the Vice President. The President is the head of the state and government who exercises executive power. So, this includes the power of appointment, control over the local government, declaring a martial law, pardoning crimes, and entering treaties. So next, we have the article number 8, the Judicial Department. So under the article number 8, the Judicial Department in the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such lower courts as may be provided by the law. So this power includes the duty to settle actual controversies involving the rights that are legally demandable, and also enforceable, and to determine if any branch or instrumentality of government has been active a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack of excess of jurisdiction. So next, we have the article number 9, the impeachment. So under article number 9, we have the first section. So what is the first section? So in the section 1, it states about the President and the Vice President, the Justice of the Supreme Court, and the Auditor General shall be removed from the office of impeachment for any conviction of culpable violation of the Constitution, like bribery or other high crimes. So in the section 2, we have the House of Representatives by a vote of 2/3 of its all members shall have a sole power of impeachment. So in section number 3, we have the Senate shall have the sole power to try impeachment. So lastly, in the section number 4, the judgment in case of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy of any office of honor, trust, or profit under the government of the Philippines. So, article number 10, the Commission on Election. So, the Commission on Election is mandated to give life and meaning to the basic principle that sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. So, it is an independent constitutional body created by 1940 Amendment to the 1935 Constitution. Since then, its membership was enlarged and in powers expanded by the 1973 and the 1987 Constitution. So, the Commission exercises not only administrative